those of you who got an invite, welcome to Nerd Prom.
No matter where in the world you are, we're all Nerds International. With the hyphen.
Alright, YouTube, it's Mr. Mean coming at you from Beaumont, Texas, where everything's bigger in Texas, and it must be true, because today's video du jour, Zweihander. Yes, a Grim Perilous RPG. And if you think this bears an akin to a certain Warhammer fantasy roleplay of the 1988 version, blah, blah, you are correct. It was a great inspiration for this game. Daniel Fox is the author of this perilous tome. Additional writing was by Tanner Yee. This is the first edition hardback. It was published by Grim Perilous Studios. They do have a website. I'll put a link into it in the show notes. This was kickstarted quite famously. It is very well done. This is a beast, okay? If you're going to buy this, be prepared because shipping is kind of brutal. I don't think it's too terribly bad if you send it media rate, but be aware, it's a big book. I mean, there's the spine. Well, if it's upside down. Sorry, I'm in the video and everything's reversed. So you can see it's chunky. I mean, and we are coming in at a full 691 pages. Now, the last 2 pages are for, or last 3 pages are for notes. So if you want to put notes in your book, you can. It's a very comprehensive index. They've got the Kickstarter thanks in the very back of the book. Character sheets are a little, in my opinion, bland. I would have liked to have seen something more along the lines of Warhammer Fantasy's character sheet, you know, because it was a very grim, dark-looking character sheet. This one is not so much. I mean, that's the character sheet. And like I said, it's not overly awesome. Now, I did go on the website. I didn't find any fan-made character sheets, but that was a couple weeks ago. Sorry, my mustache is tickling me. A big, huge, awesome shout out to Brian Isaacoff for sending this to me. He had sent me the PDF. And I fell in love with it. I started reading it and I was like, oh my God, this is a new version, you know, some might even say a slightly better version of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. And it's not. There are some differences. Is it as good as Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay? In my opinion, yes. Now, that being said, I haven't got to run it yet. I haven't got to play it. I would love to get a chance to play it. If someone's running an online game and needs a player one weekend, I would love to jump in and play this. Where this book shines is the layout and the art. Fantastic. There's not a ton of art, but there's enough art in here, and it is consistent throughout the entire book. And as I've always said in all my videos, if you have a game, if you're going to put out a game, and this guy pretty much did this mostly by himself. My lighting is all jacked up here. There we go. This is, you know, it takes a lot of chutzpah to put out your own game and for it to be successful. He ran a successful Kickstarter. I don't know what was entailed in the Kickstarter. I was not part of it. But I can tell you that the finished product, you can get this through DriveThruRPG, or you can get it off their website, I believe. It's a beast. I mean, it's almost 700 pages, and I think it's print on demand through DriveThru. So again, thank you, Brian. He spent his hard-earned money to send this to me because he knows Mr. Mean likes his Grim and Perilous RPGs, and boy, does this fit the bill. This goes a little bit more in depth into the Grim and the Perilous as opposed to what Warhammer did. Warhammer was limited in its page count. It wasn't nearly as big, especially the one from Green Ronin was a third, not even a third the size of this book. So this goes into it. I mean, you've got 13 chapters, which I think is kind of funny for a Grim, kind of spooky game to have 13 chapters. There's a nice introduction on how to play. It is a percentage-based skill system, just like Warhammer. There's some subtle differences, and I'm not going to go over them because I haven't had a chance to play it. I have read through it. It took me almost a month to read this thing. It's a beast. There's some of the art. Here's an Iron Abbot and a Merchant Lord, and you can see the art is very consistent and very nicely done. The page layout on this book is fantastic. I don't think they've wasted any space, which for me is a big deal. I really, really like that in a book when they do that. So they go into telling you basically how to play the game. And that starts on page 13 and goes to page 25. So they cover the rules pretty well. I mean, there's 12 or so pages there of rules, and then character creation is from page 25 to 73. We got almost 50 pages of just basic character creation, and you can be an elf or a dwarf or a halfling. The predominant race and the assumed player character race is human. They also go in here with ogres, so you can play an ogre, and they give you the different rules that go along with playing an ogre or a dwarf or an elf or an halfling. Where this book really shines is in the professions. Professions start on page 73 and go to page 190. Yes. 120 pages of professions, and I mean and it's very much similar to Warhammer and the your first career, second career, third career, and you have to get all your trappings to move into the next career. It's very well done, but you can be an anarchist. It really, in my opinion, expands upon all the careers that I wanted to see in the Green Ronin version of Warhammer, which we didn't get to see. So you've got an apothecary, you've got a beastmaster, an animal tamer. Well, animal tamer is a beastmaster. An artisan, guild privilege for the artisans. They get special stuff, and it goes through here, and you get all kinds of perks and effects. Each class gets a special shtick, as I like to call it. So let's find a good one here. The burglar. The burglar gets nimble fingers. A burglar's hands are precious tools, and most spend years honing their innate dexterity. Effect: you drastically reduce the time required to use skullduggery test, taking no more than a minute for complex actions. Examples include picking locks, pilfering goods, etc. In addition, you may flip the results to succeed at skill tests to steal. One of the cool mechanics in here is, of course, it's a percentage-based game, and we all know when you do a percentage-based game and you need to roll, below a certain threshold, inevitably you'll roll way above it. Most of the classes have some sort of shtick, ability, class feature that allows them within their wheelhouse to flip those dice. The game has fate points as well. I don't believe they call it fate points, though. I think they call it... Or maybe it was fate points. I should have made a note. You know what? It's on the character sheet. That'll tell me. This book is huge, guys. I can't get over how big this is. And again, a heartfelt thank you to Brian Eiskopf for hooking Mr. Mean up with this. That was beyond the call of friendship there, and I am very touched. He's bought me several books over the years that he knows fit my fancy, and this is definitely one of them. Let's see here. They do in fact call them fate points, and then you have reputation points as well. So say you're a beggar. Among your peers, other beggars, you have a reputation, and so it comes into play, and they give you full rules for that, which I thought was very cool. Their peril threshold and damage threshold are pretty cool as well. They take damage slightly different way than Warhammer does. Every time you get damaged, you tick off a little box. And you got your dodge and your parry and your damage threshold, which increases your bonuses and your damage threshold modifiers. And then once you meet that, you exceed that, and you take that much damage in that for that threshold, you tick off like first is unharmed, and then is lightly wounded, moderate, seriously, grievously, and slain. There are the Ruinous Powers in here. They're not called the Ruinous Powers, but they are. There's cultists. You can actually play a character as a cultist. There's all kinds of just cool stuff in here for you to do. Spells, the arcane, necromancy. I mean, this book, for being such a big book, there are certain game books that do not pull off the giant book shtick. One of the first ones that comes to mind for me is any of the Fantasy Flight Warhammer 40k books. They're good. I love the game, but their percentage system and the way characters start out is just painful. Your character can be gimped from character creation, and it's a harsh game. It's very unforgiving, as well it should be when you're toting around lasers and frag grenades and haywire grenades and all kinds of psychic powers. It can be a downright brutal game, but it is not what I call player friendly. The GM has to, in my opinion, I've run the game a couple times, you have to go out of your way not to kill the players. You have to fudge some dice rolls, because if the players are having an off night and the dice aren't rolling, their characters can very well die. I mean, it is a lethal game, though, and they tell you that in the character creation. So, I mean, be warned. But those books are too big, and they try to cover too much, and they leave a lot out, where when you're making your character, you're like, where's that? What? You're confused. And this, the way it's laid out and the way character creation works, I did make a basically a random character, and I was not confused. I went through the process, and it was pretty smooth. It was pretty painless. Everything fit on the character sheet. I wasn't like, oh, where am I going to put this? There was a spot for everything, and everything in its spot, as I like to say. So, all kinds. There's a grimoire in here, which is pretty huge. The game master section is pretty chunky as well, and I mean, goes through all the things you would think about: multiple attack, armor, called shots, encumbrance, hit locations. Hit locations are done on a D10 now instead of the percentage dice, which was a thing that was built into Warhammer. You inverted your successful die roll, and that's the location you hit in. Here it's just a 1d10, and you can roll randomly, or you can, obviously you can do called shots. Like a called shot to the head is an arduous task, so it's minus 30% off your skill, off your combat-based test. So, man, there's just all kinds of cool abilities, racial modifiers. There's monsters in here. It's very well done. The bestiary is pretty damn huge. There's quite a bit of stuff in here. Fauna, there's plants, there's carnivorous. I mean, you name it. There's everything in here. And I believe there is a starting, Bitter Harvest. There's a starting adventure in Chapter 13, which I haven't read yet, so I'm going to have to read that to possibly run this for my friends. What I would like to see from this, if Daniel Fox or any of the guys from Grim Perilous RPG.com are listening, is I would love to see a character creator. I know half the fun is making a character, but nowadays as adults, we just don't have time. I don't. I mean, I'm a new dad again at 50. I'm 50 years old. You can tell by all the gray in Mr. Mean's beard. But being a dad with a 9-month-old kid and a wife, and I both work, I don't have time to sit here and go through 700 pages to make a character. I just don't. So some pre-gens would be cool. I don't know if they're in here. They may very well be in here. I didn't see them, but like I said, I didn't read the adventure because I didn't know if anybody was going to run it. So let's check and see. There may be some. If there's some pre-gens in here, that would be freaking awesome, because then I could just print those out, because I do have a PDF of this, so I could print it out. No, there are no pre-gens in here. That sucks. There is a bunch of charts, though, for a GM, because as far as I know, there is no GM screen available for this. So there appears to be no pre-gens in here. Not that I can see, anyway. So if somebody has some pre-gens and they want to send them to me, that would be awesome. Reach out to me through my YouTube channel or my Gmail, jpolak@gmail.com. And I'll definitely shoot you an email, because I would like to download some pre-gens. They may very well be on the website. I don't know. I tooled through the website. I can't remember. It was a couple of weeks ago. Like I said, I'll put a link to the website. You can go check for yourself. I'm going to tell you, though, that to be honest, I don't even know what this costs. I would imagine it's running in at a hefty $60, maybe a little bit more, because it is so big and it is print on demand. I think the PDF, I think, is running $20, $25, maybe $30. I don't know. I apologize. I probably should get better at looking that kind of stuff up. But hey, this is just my honest opinion of the games. I'm not a professional. I claim that from the get-go. I do this for fun. Is this a game for you? If you're a Warhammer fan, if you're a D&D fan and you just want a grittier, darker D&D, check out Zweihander. Might be the game for you. It is Grim Perilous RPG. I mean, it says it right there on the cover. 691 pages, guys. I mean, this is a beast. The art is phenomenal inside of it. It definitely gives you that feel of this world sucks. The character archetype, or not archetypes, but the character careers are phenomenal, very well laid out. The several that I read did not confuse me, and I'm not very smart. And I really enjoyed how they laid it out and how they wrote about the careers. They give you obviously how to go into advanced careers and what you need to do to progress your character. The GM section is very well laid out. All the way around, man, just a cool book. You can't go wrong with this. If you're a fan of Warhammer and you don't want to wait for Cubicle 7 to put out their version of Warhammer, pick this up and start. And please let me know how you enjoyed it. How did your session go? Better yet, if you guys have the ability to record it on Roll20, Roll20 or Fantasy Ground, please do and send me a link. I'll be happy to watch it. I think it would be a fun game to play in, and like I said, I'm a huge fan of that grim, dark, and perilous adventure, and this game has it in spades. Dare I say, I think it's darker than Warhammer, the original Warhammer. Even it's definitely darker than the Fantasy Flight Warhammer, and I'm gonna say it's equal to, if not darker than, second edition Warhammer from Black Libraries and Games Workshop and Hogshead. They did it as well. Go back in the archives, watch the video I did on that. I got a couple things wrong because I got confused between my editions. One of the guys on the Warhammer group pointed it out. He made a cool video. If I knew how to go back and put a link in my video to his video, I would definitely do it. But if you go back and you look at the notes, which are open to the public, you can see, I believe he posted a link to his video, and it's very well done. The dude has some crazy mad skills. He corrects the things wrong that I got wrong, which was mainly, I think, the magic. I got the editions of magic confused, and he clarified it. So thank you to you. I'm sorry, sir, I don't remember your name. I don't have those notes in front of me. I do all this stuff off the cuff, so there's not much pre-production that goes into this. I mean, just, thank you guys for watching my videos, commenting when you do. I just did a video on Alternity from TSR before they had got bought out by WotC. It's already, I posted it first thing this morning. It's already had like 47, 50 views and a whole bunch of comments from a lot of cool people. So thank you guys. It means a lot. I like reading the comments. I work behind a desk all day. I do IT support, desktop and server support. So I do a lot of my work remotely. And it's nice to be able to have something to distract me there, to read your guys' comments and stuff, whether they're good or bad. I really haven't had any bad notes. I did have one guy that flamed me, but for whatever reason, it never got posted. And I don't know if YouTube pulled it or whatever. It was my first really, the guy just blasted, and I'm assuming it's a guy. It may have been a gal. I don't know. But he I'm going to use the vernacular of he, the pronoun of he, because he was berating me for talking about my kid and my wife, and he didn't care about any of that. And basically just all around the video sucked, but it never got posted. The comment, most of the comments on my site are freely to be posted unless it's, I don't know how YouTube does it. I think if you've been flagged, as a bad person or whatever on YouTube, I think maybe that's what it might, I don't know. I don't know how that works, but whatever, the comment never got posted on my video. I was able to read it, but when I went to go back and look for it, it was gone. It was never posted on my video. Whenever you guys make a note on my video, if you know this or not, when you post on someone's YouTube video, we get an email. if they have their account set up that way, and I think that's the default way. You get an email, and it gives you a brief synopsis of what was said, and then you click on it, and it takes you to the video, and the video will start playing, but I can read your comments on the bottom. Just like when you're looking at a video and you can see all the comments that other people post. It's kind of the same thing, but I get an email the moment you submit it. So what happened, I don't know. I mean, it was my first piece of hate mail. I got, I think I have 211 subscribers now, so thank you to each and every one of you. That's super cool. Again, I do this for fun and just to give you a glimpse that maybe it's enough to pique your interest. I don't go into die-hard rules explanations or anything. I'm not that kind of guy. I don't do a lot of screen sharing because I just don't have that capability. I don't know how to do it, and I work on computers all day long. The last thing I want to do is come home and work on my computer. My computer at home is for fun. It's basically a gaming rig, but it works well for recording videos. So, but I don't have like crazy super cool software. And so you guys watching the video, taking time out of your busy lives, you're just as busy as I am, probably even more so. So I appreciate each and every one of you, and I haven't really done a fan appreciation video, but kind of consider this one. Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. I hope you like Zweihander, and if my videos give you a I need to check that game out thought, then I've done my job, and hopefully they do. It's a lot of fun to do these, believe it or not. It takes a little while to render them. My videos usually hover right around the 30-minute mark, between 20 and 30-minute mark. So they take roughly about double that time to render. And that's with nothing else running on the PC. Sometimes they render faster, sometimes they don't. It just depends. But I'm part of the Nerds International group. They have a G+ page under the same name, and there's a lot of great guys on there that are doing podcasts, and there's even one of the guys is a Savage Worlds publisher. He's actually had his book published, and he also has the Wild Die podcast. Eric Lamino, if I said his name right. He's a Canadian, so the hell with those guys, hey, whatever. America Light. That's what I call Mr. Mean calls you America Light, Eric. Anyway, they're a bunch of great guys. Dare I say I enjoy gaming with them. I'm supposed to game with them tonight, but I have to go back into work in a little bit. So I totally forgot to email those guys and tell them I can't play tonight. So I fucked up. But anyway, as always, peace, hair grease, and be nice. Mr. Mean is asking you to be nice. The world is full of ugly. Again, let's leave it a little bit better than we found it yesterday. Be nice to people, man. It's the least we can do. And other than that, peace out.